Time has just gone 22 minutes past 9 a.m. We continue with news and views this morning and looking at South Africa, looking at South Africa as a preferred destination for foreign investment on the continent. Now, we know in the past, South Africa, still one of the powerhouses economically on the African continent, and a lot of hope that was placed in South Africa as an investment destination. But is this really the case? We joined on the line this morning by Dr. Dick Forslund, who is a senior economist. Dr. Dick Forslund, good morning to you, sir, and welcome to the show.
Good morning to you and the viewers, and thank you for having me today.
Yes, just looking at South Africa and where we are from an economic perspective, from a confidence perspective, particularly from investors, and looking at South Africa, its position on the African continent. Just in your analysis, where are we as a foreign investment destination? Particularly when we're talking about global investments into the African continent, Dr. Porcelain.
Well, I have a more, how can I say, people-centered approach to this issue. So if there's any big investors looking at this program, maybe they will not be so pleased of what I have to say. But when it comes to the attractiveness of the investment in South Africa, well, the minerals, the gas, and the oils are here, and what we can see is there's a mounting pressure, a political pressure on the South African government to deregulate and get rid of so-called red tape, and that was a theme at the mining indaba in Cape Town the other week. I can show you the front page of Business Day yesterday, where it says "Cut red tape and miners will invest." But the problem, I think, for the South African population at large is if we really should continue with this development path of the extracting minerals. I mean, the first and biggest in foreign direct investors in South Africa, it was the East Indian Company, the Dutch East Indian Company, and it was Cecil John Rhodes. And not much has changed since then. You have the problem of profits and dividends being sent abroad, assisted by a lot of illicit financial outflows also, breaking of the laws and tax dodging. And you have also depletion of natural resources and an increasing rate. So, I mean, the issue for us, I think, as ordinary South African, if this is going to continue. If you have for example, the coal-rich province in the north, in Mpumalanga, you have the whole surface of Mpumalanga covered by mining or by applications for new mining, and the investors are complaining that the rate of approving such applications and prospecting licenses is too slow. There's a backlog of thousands of applications. But I mean, do we want 70% of the Mpumalanga surface to be mined? It's also the hub of agriculture in South Africa. So the whole scheme of development that the government is taking, one, it is a problem for national sovereignty, and you can see, we see quite a strong anti-democratization process where the rural communities who are sustaining themselves from agriculture, they're increasing social unrest and protests and court cases when it comes to so-called extractivism. So I think that if they can get more political concessions for the government, they will continue to invest. A lot of the investment will be so-called short-term financial inflows, which the Reserve Bank is encouraging by having a 10% interest rate on 10-year bonds and so on. which can also go out as quickly as it comes in. But I mean, the issue for South Africa is the choice of development path in the shadow of the climate crisis.
Mm. Also, I think what is important to understand, and I think apart from the red tape which you speak about, and it is justified, is to look at South Africa from a confidence perspective. And as foreign investors, how confident are they about South Africa? We've seen so much happen in the last few years. We know the ESCOM albatross is hanging over everybody's neck, which is one issue. Also, we see levels of instability as far as the government is concerned, the infighting, the corruption. There are so many other issues which investors are totally and they fully aware of. And how would all those issues actually play out as well, where when one looks at South Africa and whether South Africa is still a favorable or a preferred investment destination, Dr. Forslund?
Yeah, no, I mean, I was at the trade union conference yesterday and listening to different presentations and so on. And the fear is that we are going for a Arab Spring or more south, because we have a unemployment rate in the expanded definition of unemployment of over 45%. The official unemployment rate is over 35% now. And we have a hunger problem. I think for the first time in as I've seen it, you have now sort of cases, close to 200 cases of children starving to death, dying from hunger. It's been confirmed. And in this situation, I don't know how long the broad population will put up with this development. And the faction fight in the ruling party, the African National Congress, is continuing. And everybody is now looking forward uh, in a very sort of strict sense of the word, something that will happen in the future. But there will be a conference with the election of a new leadership in ANC in December. So I think everybody is looking to what will happen in December and if the President Cyril Ramaphosa will stay in power or not, because you have a strong push from a kind of business faction in the ruling party, who have also engaged a lot in corruption and in the so-called state capture process, which has been, as you know, in the news in South Africa for 3 years, and now the reports are coming out. So you have a looting of the state enterprises, not least ESCOM, and you have a looting in other state-owned enterprises, and you have a bloated procurement and tender system where the state are sort of invoiced sort of 30, 40, 50% over the prices of what you can get in an ordinary shop. And everybody is aware of this. How will the state respond to if there will be growing discontent in the communities and on the streets and in the towns, and what will investors think about it? Well, if the state can contain this, maybe they will continue and they will go to the so-called special economic zones, uh, Chinese capital and other capital. Maybe they can win the court case. Maybe Shell can win the court case, which is up now on the 30th of May. But that will be a very important signal also. So there is, as you might know, there is a case of communities, fishing communities, and the Kolobeni rural communities, which I'm sitting quite close to, who have taken Shell, the Netherlands company Shell Petroleum, to court, trying to stop them from extracting gas and oil outside the wild coast here in the Indian Ocean. And I mean, the issue here is about legally, the issue is about if Shell Petroleum have a proper environmental uh, uh, authorization or not. And the Department of Environment in South Africa have taken a neutral stand to this. It's also a complicated legal issue. If the communities win the court case against Shell Petroleum, well, that is a signal that maybe environmental concerns, as far at least the courts are concerned, are taking the upper hand, and maybe that will be a deterrent to foreign direct investment. But that is nothing, as you can hear, that is nothing that I mourn about. I think that you need a new direction of the South African economy, and the main looming threat is the climate crisis, which is already over us. You might have your listeners and viewers might have heard about the devastating floods in KZN, which have costed billions of rand and making sort of causing 500 deaths from the flooding and 40,000 families without housing. And I mean, not to take care of the climate crisis, but continue as business as before, which FDI is a part of. You lure investors to come and extract the natural resources, and you go on as before, and you kick the tin forward on the road, hoping that climate crisis and all these kind of environmental issues will disappear. But they are not disappearing, and nature is now taking a revenge on us. So I think we need to step into a new paradigm. And I doubt if the majority in the investment community is realizing that, but they should. But so far, we see no change when it comes to the mindset of mining companies and multinational corporations. And they continue with the illicit financial outflows from South Africa. And I think that the authorities is quite lenient about this, also because of competition for foreign capital. So you don't want to come out as a investor unfriendly country. So you go on and continue as before. But that is that will finally prove to be a cul-de-sac, something that you will hit the wall finally. And with these unemployment rates and with the absence of a localization of economic development, I think that we are really heading for bad times in South Africa.
Well, Dr. Dick Forslund, I want to thank you for your time with us this morning. Always interesting talking with you, interesting analysis, and I'm sure there's a lot more that we could unpack. But unfortunately, time has run out. But we wish you well. We thank you for your time, and please take care.
Thank you to you.
Dr. Dick Forslund with us this morning, senior economist. We're going to go for a break. We come back, and we're looking at Africa Day.